I think when you sign a guy like Kyler Murray, he's coming in to be the starter. Like, you know what I mean? Like if we had signed a guy like Kirk, um, or like Gino or something like that, um, it's like, okay, open competition, best man can win type of thing. But you sign a guy like Kyler Murray, he's coming in to be the starter. He's got all the talent in the world. Um, just kind of been, a little bit of an underachiever, but obviously he's been on bad teams, obviously. So, he hasn't been, in necessarily the best situation for a quarterback. So, he's going to be coming into to the situation that we have. And it should, it should fit, with Kevin O'Connell being the, whatever you want to call him, the quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru, whatever, whatever. Um, you see what he was able to do for Kirk Cousins' career. You see what he was able to do for Sam Darnold's career. Um, so I'm excited to see what he's able to do for Kyler Murray. Because I mean, you can say that. I mean, um, Kyler Murray's probably more talented than both of them. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, arm talent wise, he's uh, definitely more of a runner than both of those guys as well. More athletic. I mean, the guy was drafted.
First overall.
Not only was he drafted in the NFL, he was also drafted
In
in
baseball.
the in the MLB. I think he went ninth in the MLB draft.
Hmm.
Same year that he got drafted in the NFL, first overall. But um, was the original question? No. How does JJ? I mean, J- uh, I think I do still think we need to be patient with JJ McCarthy. Um, you know, Kyler Murray might not be necessarily the long-term answer. Um, but I think for JJ McCarthy, I think this is actually really good. This is going to help. This is going to help Vikings fans with their patience because now we can be like, okay, you can let Kyler Murray drive and you can let JJ, keep learning like he was, hold on, let's go back because let's go back to last year because even though he was thrust into you know starting for us, he wasn't supposed to play last year because I think people around the organization believe in him. At the same time, they also believe that he needs more time. Again, this guy is, JJ is 22, the youngest quarterback in the league. Keep that in mind for context. Youngest quarterback in the league. So yeah, not every quarterback is going to be Peyton Manning, come in, lock loaded and ready to go. A lot of quarterbacks need to develop. Even though Jordan Love is ass, um, you know, it was good that he got to sit behind, Aaron Rodgers for 3 years, um, and develop into, you know, again, he is ass, but he is a legit starter in the NFL. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I'm sure he had to develop into that. He sat for 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers. So, for JJ, this is good. I expect Kyler Murray to. So they're going to say it's a competition. I expect Kyler Murray to win the competition. Um, and then I expect JJ to, all the pressure to fall off of him. I expect him to continue learning. Um, and I still expect big things from JJ McCarthy. I think he had a terrible start to the season, but I think to close out the season, I think he got better every game. At the beginning of the season, for example, he had like no touch on his throws. Like he was trying to throw 98-mile fastballs on every single throw. Like, bro, chill, put some touch on that. So I think he got better. He definitely got better at that. He got better at knowing when to scramble, when to hang out in the pocket. Um, so yeah, this is gonna be really good for the Vikings as a team because we're gonna have better quarterback play, more consistent quarterback play. I would hope, I would think, um, but it also set us up for the future with JJ McCarthy being able to learn and develop in the system for more years with more years with Kevin O'Connell holding the clipboard. So yeah, I plus we pretty much stole Kyler Murray for 1 year deal, 1 point for the vet minimum, whatever it's a 1.3 mil or whatever. So we're the way that the team is set up, it's in win now mode. You got a guy like Aaron Jones. He's obviously at the end of his career. Um, got a guy like Jordan Mason. He's entering his prime years. Obviously, we have the best wide receiver in the league. We've got one of the best number two wide receivers in the league in Jordan Addison. T.J. Hawkinson is still serviceable. Um, we've got one of the best left tackles in the league. You know, I look for our hopefully our offensive line can be more healthy this year. Uh, we have one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. I mean, the defense last year was absolutely amazing. If we had, more steady quarterback play earlier in the season, we would have won the division. All things, with everything that happened, I mean, we only finished one game out of actually winning the division and making the playoffs. One game. Like, for as up and down as the season was, one game out of, short of winning the division and making the playoffs. So, um,
Yeah,
and hell, it really came down to the effing kick return against the Bears. If, if we stop the Bears shorter, they probably don't score. We probably win that game, and we probably beat the Bears two times, and then we're in the playoffs. So, again, I look for I look for us to have a good season next season.
yeah. I'll just say that Kyler Murray is not a reclamation project, right? Nobody questions if Kyler Murray is like actually a talented quarterback or a quality football player when he's. My question is
Hmm.
durability, his size, and
Durability, yeah,
how much how far you can go with a quarterback who's that small. But he's not Geno Smith. He's not Justin Fields. He's not
right.
Sam Darnold. He's not, and I would even say I'll put him above somebody like Tua. You know, like he's more talented, I think. Like he's not. Nobody
Oh yeah,
questions if Kyler Murray's a good football player when he's on the field. You watch the
He's
game,
got
the game. You like, damn, this guy's like the Barry Sanders of quarterback. If you watch on the right,
he's got to
especially the rest.
he's got to stay off the Call of Duty though.
Yeah, you know.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think the Vikings you know, I think this is their way of telling JJ McCarthy, I don't know about you. Like Mitch said, if they would have signed like Kirk Cousins, even um Aaron Rodgers, there was talk about him, like just some veteran quarterback where it's like, all right, JJ, you're gonna go back to the bench, you're gonna learn for a year, you're gonna develop. But they signed a 29-year-old quarterback who's gonna be hungry because he's basically playing on, even though he got his money with Arizona, he's playing
Hmm.
for
Prove it.
contract.
Playing for
So
his next contract. Hell yeah.
and they fumbled heavy with letting Arnold go. So you know,
I can explain that.
but I mean, it's 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 a good signing. It definitely can hurt, but I mean,
Definitely can hurt.
this is probably the worst time to be a quarterback in the NFL, just because there's no more. Let's see what he got.
Sit
Let's
down.
give him two,
Yeah.
3 years. You know, I mean, you're seeing what they're talking about drafting a quarterback in Cleveland. And it's like, bro, you
Drafted two
drafted two
quarterbacks, didn't they?
quarterbacks. And that's typical Cleveland Brown shit, where it's like
Hmm.
you drafted Dylan Gabriel in the third, but ahead of Shador, but Shador's like the more promising quarterback, clearly.
Hmm.
But yeah, tough time to be a quarterback.